Okay, so we're going to be doing the subset example again, but instead of football teams, we're going to be using numbers. It's easy to see here that T is a subset of S, right? Because, look, 1 is inside of T, and 1 is also inside of S. And 2 is inside of T, and it's also inside of S. So everything inside of T is also inside of S. These are two separate sets. So that means that T is a subset of S. We're going to write this out a little bit more mathematically in mathematical notation because, as I mentioned before, mathematicians, they don't like to write a lot, so they come up with symbols for commonly used phrases. So as you can see, I added 2 new symbols to this symbol list. This upside down A, which means for all, and then this backwards E, which means there exists. So right now we're going to be using this one, for all. We'll get to an example of there exists a little bit later when we start getting into proofs. But for now we're going to stick with for all. And we're going to write out this, what it means for something to be a subset, using this little special symbol. So let's write it out in English first. T is a subset of S if for all elements X, that's just the symbol that we're going to use for some specific element, in T, X is also in S. Right? So this is the English phrase for T is a subset of S. Now, how can we write this in math notation? Well, we already know how to write T as a subset of S. So T is a subset of S if for all, right? So we have the phrase for all. It's right there. If for all. A lot of people get scared when they see this, but it's just like English 2 words, so you don't have to write it all out. For all elements, and I gave it a variable name, just so we don't have to write elements. So for all X in T, then X is also in S. Right? So what does this mean? If we pick an X, and we pick any X, and we pick every single X, right? We go down the list, we say 1 is X, and then we say 2 is X. Then we can find that X, whatever we pick it to be, at that point in time, is also inside of S. So we go down the list, we say 1 is in S. Yeah, that's true. 2 is in S. That's also true. That means that T is in a subset of S. And I'll add another little symbol in here. Say that we had something else, right? Say that T also included, that doesn't work. Say that T also included the number 6. So then, we now have an X, when X equals 6, we have an X that is inside of T, but X is not inside of S. So this means not inside of. That means that, and if we draw a little arrow to show our logic, that means that T is not a subset of S. So to say something is not, you just draw a little line through it. So it's not. Right? So that's the basics of set theory. That's pretty much all you need to know to start moving into the next more complicated subjects.